Some of my experiences when I arrived to the United States was that, first of all, the United States was very orderly. I come from Mexico, and when I first saw the city, I thought that everything was very well lined up and very clean. I didn't speak much English, and I couldn't understand what other people tried to tell me. I didn't have many friends either, because it was very hard to communicate. But I was a new mother, and I had a brand new baby with me. And we together start learning how to live in the United States, also how to speak in English, also how to read and how to write in English. One of the things that was very, very important to me when I arrived in the United States was that I found out the existence of the public library and also the children's book section of the public library. I learned anything I wanted to learn about inside the walls of that space, because I found books that were about anything. I wanted to make puppets, I will just go and I will find a book in the children's book section that taught me how to make puppets. If I wanted to learn how to make baskets or how to make handmade paper, all I had to do was to go to the library and find a children's book where I learned how to make all those things. Also, picture books were very, very important to me. One, because they were beautiful, because I loved them, because they had illustrations and images that were amazing to me. I wanted to make some just like the ones I saw in those books. But remember also, I didn't speak a lot of English. So reading picture books was both a challenge, but it was also a way of learning. Many of the words that were in picture books I did not understand. But because the writing was concise and it was short, I was able to read some of those words, and when I didn't know the meanings, all I had to do was to look up the pictures, and then I knew what they meant. Picture books and the public library were very important to me because I learned things that I wanted to do. And I learned that I wanted to make picture books, that I wanted to be an artist, that I wanted to write the stories and tell them to other people. I didn't know that I will ever publish my books, but I knew I wanted books just like those to be mine. So I will go home and I will make my own picture books. I will make them in my own language, with my own stories, with my very primitive drawings, because I didn't know how to paint. And once I was done, I had my books. The fables and the customs that I brought from my country are those that I remember from when I was a kid. And my grandmother and my uncles and my aunts were great storytellers. Now, they will not tell me necessarily stories that were folk tales or fantasy stories. Most of the stories they told me were real life stories, things that apparently happened to some of them, some of my relatives or people that we knew. And they were just as fantastic. They will talk about fantastic animals or apparitions or ghosts or amazing things that just happened to people as they were doing their daily chores. So I grew up thinking that most of those things that were kind of hard to believe actually happen in real life. When I came to the United States, I remember that I wanted to feel close again to those things that I didn't have, and most of them were those stories. And I wanted to bring them into my work. So if I could say something about my work, I think my work is a celebration. It's a celebration of those things that I used to love when I was a child, about being together with my family, about the food that we love, about the colors that were in our house and our clothes, and the way that our family took care of us children. I think that what I bring with me constantly in my work are things that I used to love, like the birthday parties or gifts. And also I bring to my work things such as things that I used to be scared of when I was a kid. like again, like those stories that my uncles or my grandma will tell me about ghosts and La Llorona or apparitions. And as anyone who comes to a new country carries with her, with him, all those stories, I brought them with me too, and I put them in my books all the time. In the illustration of the reading poster, there is a dog with a mask. And he's wearing a mask because in Mexico, we are big fans of a sport called lucha libre, which is a professional wrestling. This is more like a circus act. It is this embodiment of the hero that fights the bad guys. So there is these matches where good guys and bad guys wrestle, and one of them always triumphs. And some of those luchadores, some of those wrestlers actually wear masks so that their identity is mysterious and no one knows who they really are. Sometimes, if a masked luchador loses the match, he might lose his mask, and then he will be revealed and his true identity will be known. So most luchadores try not to lose.